We know that the Philippines has a rich colonial history, marked by periods under Spanish, American, and Japanese rule. But beyond these three, many other countries desired a piece of this island paradise. One such country even had a golden opportunity to control the entire Philippines, Great Britain. Let's delve into the stories of the countries who have coveted the Philippines throughout history. Before European powers like the British attacked Brunei and the Spanish colonized the Philippines, the Sultanate of Brunei experienced a golden age of expansion. During the 1500s, they captured strategic territories like Palawan, Mindoro, Sulu, and even Manila, alongside consolidating control over most of Borneo. One major driver of this expansion was the lucrative trade monopoly held by the kingdoms of Tondo and Manila. Tondo controlled the arrival of highly sought-after Chinese ships, while Manila acted as the key distributor of these goods throughout the archipelago. By conquering these areas, Brunei aimed to become the dominant player in Southeast Asia's trade network. Controlling the flow of goods meant vast profits and a significant boost to their power. This expansion wasn't solely driven by economic motives. As a Muslim kingdom, Brunei saw an opportunity to spread Islam to other Philippine islands. In the 16th century, Manila itself was a fascinating tapestry of cultures and religions. Raja Suleiman and Raja Matanda led Muslim communities south of the Pasig River, while north of the river, Lakandula ruled over the Hindu-Buddhist kingdom of Tondo. However, this golden age wouldn't last forever. The arrival of European powers like the British and Spanish would forever change the landscape of the region. This history also adds another layer of complexity to the current dispute between Malaysia and the Philippines over Sabah. In the 16th century, Spain's claim to the Philippines faced a challenge from Portugal, another European power. Portuguese warships arrived in Cebu in 1568, essentially blockading the Spanish there. Historians debate the exact reason for this challenge. Perhaps Portugal genuinely believed they had a rightful claim to the islands, or maybe they simply saw an opportunity to gain control of valuable trade routes. Thankfully, the situation never escalated into a full-blown war. After a period of tension, the Portuguese withdrew, leaving Spanish control over the Philippines intact, at least for the time being. This episode, known as the Blockade of Cebu, underscores the intense competition between European nations for overseas empires during this era. By 1574, a Chinese warlord named Limahong was ousted by the Ming Dynasty Navy. Capturing a Chinese ship with Spanish sailors, Limahong discovered Manila's weak defenses. Just 200 soldiers, half Mexican. In November, Limahong arrived in Luzon with a massive fleet of 60 ships. He brought a substantial force, 2,000 soldiers, 2,000 sailors, and even 1,500 colonists, families, captured women, artisans, and everything needed for a new community. The Spanish, however, wouldn't surrender easily. They rallied their forces, including Filipino allies. A turning point came with the arrival of Juan de Salcedo, a young commander with 50 skilled musketeers. Their fierce attack forced the pirates back and broke the siege. But the Spanish, led by Salcedo, pursued him relentlessly. A year later, they decisively defeated him, shattering his dreams of conquest. Despite the Manila setback, Limahong relocated his crew, causing trouble elsewhere. The Dutch, like everyone else back then, were obsessed with spices like cloves and cinnamon. These were super expensive in Europe, used for food, medicine, and even to show off how rich you were. The Philippines wasn't a spice powerhouse, but it was like a key location for controlling the trade routes to the Spice Islands, now Indonesia, where the Dutch were already big players. Meanwhile, The Spanish controlled the main trade route between Asia and Europe, the Manila galleon route. The Dutch wanted a slice of that trade pie. Taking over Manila would give them control of this sweet route and break the Spanish spice monopoly. On top of that, the Dutch and Spanish were already arch enemies back in Europe. So weakening Spain in Asia would basically give the Dutch the upper hand in their big European brawl. There were even whispers of gold in the Philippines, which got the Dutch extra fired up. The Dutch launched several attempts to seize Manila, most notably during the battles of La Naval de Manila 1646. However, Filipino volunteers alongside Spanish forces successfully defended the colony, thwarting Dutch ambitions in the region. Back in the 1700s, Britain, a powerful country in Europe, wanted more influence in Asia, including the Philippines. Just like the Dutch before them, Britain saw the Philippines as a great place to trade and make money, especially because it connected to other profitable trade routes in Asia. Britain tried a few times to take over the Philippines, especially when Spain, the country controlling the islands at the time, was struggling. One big attempt happened during a giant war between many countries called the 7 Years' War. Since Spain was one of Britain's enemies in this war, Britain saw a chance to grab the Philippines. In 1762, British soldiers led by Admiral Samuel Cornish and General William Draper managed to capture Manila, the capital city of the Philippines. This was a big deal because it was the first time a foreign country had ever taken control of Manila since Spain started ruling the Philippines. While Britain was in charge, they tried to run Manila and the nearby areas, but the people living there didn't like it. They fought back against the British in small rebellions and surprise attacks, making it hard for Britain to stay in control. Britain's rule over Manila didn't last long, only about 2 years. Another big war agreement, the Treaty of Paris in 1763, ended the 7 Years' War and gave the Philippines back to Spain. Britain had to leave Manila, and Spain took control again. Even though the British weren't in charge for very long, some people in the Philippines might have started to feel unhappy with Spanish rule after this event, maybe even hinting at future rebellions. The Philippines were like a bubbling pot in 1898. The people were fighting hard to be free from Spain, who wasn't as powerful as they used to be. Across the ocean, a new country called Germany was watching closely. They wanted their empire to be bigger, and the Philippines looked like a great prize. Germany sent warships to Manila Bay right when the war between Spain and America started. They said they were there to protect Germans living in the Philippines, but some people weren't sure if that was the whole story. Was Germany really just being friendly, or were they getting ready to take over themselves? It's kind of a mystery. Germany probably did want to keep their people safe, but the timing and location of the ships makes it seem like they might have also wanted to grab the Philippines if they got the chance. Germany's leader, Kaiser Wilhelm, liked adding new lands to his empire, and the Philippines probably looked pretty tempting. Germany's dream of owning the Philippines didn't last long, though. The United States, a young but strong country, won the war against Spain very quickly. The big battle in Manila Bay pretty much ended Spanish control of the Philippines. The islands were free from Spain, but nobody knew what would happen to them next. Aside from these countries, there are also individuals who desire to buy the Philippines. Like King Leopold II, who wanted to buy it from the Queen of Spain. And fortunately, it didn't push through. Otherwise, Filipinos might have suffered like the Africans. Also, Andrew Carnegie, who wanted to buy the Philippines from Spain for $20 million just to set it free. And if perhaps the British had control over the Philippines, it's likely that Sabah wouldn't have been separated from Sulu. What do you think? Thank you for watching.